Hi, this is Jason Mose with InRoads Credit Union. Thank you for joining us tonight live on Facebook for DIY with InRoads. Tonight we're literally mixing hands-on fun with money-minded insights. We have a wonderful paint night for you with our very own Tarah from InRoads. And I'm going to introduce her, bring her out here on stage, and she's going to walk and talk you through how to do this painting tonight. So make sure you grab a glass of your favorite beverage and join us because we're about to have a lot of fun. We'll be on for 1 hour, so from 6 to 7. We'll be live on Facebook. Make sure if you have any comments or questions that you put them down below. We'll be answering and interacting with you throughout the entire night. So if you have any, I don't know, just fun little tidbits that you want to add to this segment tonight, feel free to do it down below. And without further ado, we'd like to introduce you to our very own Tarah.
Hello, my name's Tarah. I work at InRoads Credit Union. I'm a training specialist, and I've been also working on the SBA team. So it's been a lot of fun, but it's really nice to be able to go home, pour a beverage, and kind of do a little bit of painting. Tonight, the one that we're doing is going to be pretty simple. A lot of fun, so we're going to keep it festive with some fall colored trees, and I'm going to show you how to get here. So without further ado, the first thing that we're going to talk about tonight is mixing paint. I think it's really easy to get our hands on some of those primary colors, and that is all that I used in this one when I was working on it. So I'm going to show you a little bit about mixing the color. And what I really love about this is also that when you're mixing the color, you just kind of get to make whatever scene that you want. So I started off with a red and quite a bit of red.
Hey, Tarah, do you mind putting the painting up behind you?
Yes.
Just so people can see it.
This one?
Yeah, until we're ready to start.
Here. Should I put it here?
Yeah, you can just put it right there.
And then this one is just red and blue. It's the colors that we're starting off with. And at home, I've got like a little paint spatula that I use. I don't have it with me tonight, but we're just gonna take a number 4 flat brush and we're gonna mix in that red and the blue and not get it on Jason's carpet.
I appreciate that. Alanis, we're aware that it's a little dark right now. We're in my living room, so the as the sun is setting, it'll be a little brighter in here actually. So apologize for the lighting right now, but it will get better.
That's fun. So you can see this is mostly red with a little bit of blue, and it's kind of got a warm purpley color to it. It's very similar to actually the shirt that I'm wearing. I'm gonna actually put a little bit more red in this. The idea that I'm going for is we're gonna start on our canvas about 1/3 of the way up, and we want to put in some warmer colors. And then transition into a darker color. So I'm gonna set this back down.
This is live, folks. And if you're not able to be with us the entire night, this will be loaded on our landing page for you to watch later. We also have the instructions as well as the supply list on inroadscu.org/DIY. So if you do have some supplies and you want to get them out now, you can look on that landing page and bust them out for tonight.
Perfect. All right, I've got a pretty warm, kind of dark purple here. So this is kind of where we're gonna start. If you would like to make it like a little bit more sunsetty, you can go a little bit lighter, but I kind of prefer the darker colors to contrast with the tree. So we're gonna take our brush with all of this beautiful paint on it, and we are just gonna go, like I said, about 1/3 of the way up, and we're just gonna blend in a bunch of this paint. I do use acrylic paints. They dry a little bit, well, quite a bit faster than oil paints. So if you really like blending in your colors quite a bit, you might want to use an oil paint. Just know that if you want it to fully dry before you hang it or something like that, you're probably going to be waiting about a month if you've gotten a lot of color on there. So a lot of people also really like to go and do the edges to kind of on the stretched canvas to make it look a little bit more covered. I don't care. I kind of like the look of the actual painting, you know, being a little bit obvious. So glad we put this paper down. So I've kind of got that warm color on here, and I don't want to take it up too far because I do want to create another color. So I'm going to put this one to the side. We can always come back and blend it in a little bit more if we decide we want to warm it up a little bit more. But I'm going to do basically the opposite. So instead of being more red than blue, this is going to be a little bit more blue than red. Just going to do that. I am going to rinse this paintbrush off a little bit as well because it got pretty saturated with that color, and I do want a little bit more blue in this. So even though it's a similar mixture, it's going to be a little bit different. So I have a cup of water here. Doesn't have to be really clean, just rinse it off, wipe it. There you go. Mix this one up. Yeah, that's going to be really pretty. So this is a pretty light blue here, which is totally fine, and you'll see why. We're gonna darken it up a little bit here in just a second. So you're gonna take this blue, and you're gonna kind of just start here-ish, and you're gonna start blending this in. And you wanna take this to where it's more to the edges. You want it to be darker the further out that you go, or more blue the further away you get from what will be kind of your horizon line here. This is a lot lighter. So I'm just gonna have you guys do that for a little bit. It takes a little bit of time to get that blending in really good. I'm gonna show you one more step really quick, and then we're going to jump ahead to the next section because I want to give you guys plenty of time on the actual blossoms of the tree. That's going to take up a lot more time than some of these other phases. So as you blend this in, you'll kind of get a feel of how the paint is working for you. And then I'm going to have you take your canvas and actually lay it down. And then you're going to just take some straight up black and put some at the top. Not a lot. Some people like to put this straight on their brushes. You can see I just kind of did a little bit here at the top. Rinse the brush off again. And we're just blending, so the brush doesn't need to be super clean. But you're going to take in the very top here, we're going to do some black and blend it in and bring that color down. And that is going to be our skyline. And then the last thing we do is we're just going to take whatever leftover blue, and this is going to be really light, but we are going to go to that about third mark again. And this doesn't need to be a super clean line, but do try to make it pretty straight. And you're just going to fill in the rest of the canvas with that blue color. Does anybody have any questions questions about how we're getting started, any tips or trick kind of things that you're interested in, any things that you like to do when you paint. Do we have
Well, you have a few fans out there. Hannah said, "Go Tarah." Lana says, "LOL," the little quote unquote stay.
Did you guys hear that?
We hear everything.
Oh, it's the microphones. Yeah, so I would honestly blend this for a little bit longer, just to make sure that that color really is transitioning throughout the canvas. And then we are going to move this to the side, which is not something I had really thought about. We're just going to lay that down. Step one. So I have a couple more prepared canvases. So this is another one. The color actually isn't quite as...
It's actually hard to tell the closer you are to the camera. So if you
it's not as contrasting as the other one. So I do have like a warm tone here into a blue, and then the black up top. The colors are just a bit darker. Actually, I do need probably 2 more plates. And our next step that we're going to do, we'll just skip ahead to the fun part. I want you to lay your canvas down. Make sure you have something covering the table when you do this, because we are going to take probably our bigger brush, depends on how you're feeling. I know some people that like to do this, they take a skinnier, more detailed brush and they use actually the back end to make some stars in your night sky, is what we're going to be working on. And they like having a little bit more control over where those are located. I feel like those type of things are pretty organic, and I like to paint pretty organic, so thanks, Jason. We are going to take another plate, because I don't know how to use one plate for multiple things. And I'm going to go ahead and just deposit a bunch of black acrylic paint on one half. All of it. And white on the other half of this plate here. That's enough for now. And you're just going to take your brush, and my favorite part is you just kind of flick it on there.
So this is creating sort of a starry night here?
Yeah. This one's got a couple meteors. But it's really fun. I just like making a mess, which is why it's good that you got a drop cloth. Sorry, Jason.
It's okay.
This is the most fun part.
To quote Shannon Quimby, DIY expert, there are no DIY police. So you guys have fun. Do it how you want to do it. Make a mess in your own house.
I feel like that was aimed at someone.
The key is have fun. Alana says toothbrushes work well for stars as well.
They do. They work really great.
Risha's asking, what are you painting? We have some people that are joining us now, so there it is.
Tree. One tree. I know it says happy trees, but we only have one very, very happy tree. They're just having a great time out there, so.
And for those that maybe couldn't tell, it's a very autumn-looking tree behind a starry night with its reflection on some beautiful water.
So beautiful. So now that we have our stars and meteors in the sky, I'm going to actually use a little bit smaller brush at this point. I can't remember exactly what size this one is, but what we're going to do is we're just going to go straight in with some black paint. And you'll find that kind of horizon line that you made earlier. And we're going to draw a pretty organic line. I should probably not pick that up while I'm doing this. Across the bottom here. And so it kind of depends what you're feeling, where you think you are. But I like to make kind of a little bit of a bank here. And when you're doing this top line, I would encourage you guys to go back and kind of leave a bit of a deposit of that paint along that top line, and you'll see why in just a second. So I'm going to have you take your brush and very lightly and short little strokes just pull some of that paint up. And so you're going to kind of create some tufts of grass as you go along here. I can't see. I should have brought my glasses.
Just painting happy little tufts of grass.
At nighttime. They're sleepy. What is everybody going to be for Halloween? That's a great question. I don't know if any...
Have anybody going as a tree?
I got you. If you're going as a tree, we can be friends. We can be friends if you're not going as a tree as well. All right, back in with some more black paint. Just do a little bit of a line here. That's it. And I kind of like, because we're gonna start creating our tree. So when you think of a tree, that trunk isn't it's not straight vertical. So you're gonna have some kind of organic, weird, funky shapes. And one of our stars.
Alana says, it's a beautiful tree. And Deanna says, love the stars. Is that the Milky Way?
That's my stepmom. I love you. But no, it's not. It's we've got a meteor shower going on. Is really what's happened. Perfect. Okay. And then after you create that trunk, just kind of start creating some limbs. You want to kind of go out a little bit. You don't need to be too extravagant here. Just kind of like, how big do you want your tree to be? How much space do you want it to take up? What area do you want your limbs to be at? Kind of something like that. And that's kind of our base that we're going to use to work off of creating some of the foliage on there. So you just really need to get your trunk shape and then kind of an idea of how you want your tree to go. And very organic, just whatever. We're going to be covering up a lot of this as well.
And just a reminder or an announcement for the people that are joining us now, Tarah is painting a beautiful autumn tree in front of a dark, starry sky. This is the finished product. So I know that things look pretty dark right now, but we are going to get to some color here soon enough.
Okay. And then I have one more prepped canvas right here that has that tree already dried a little bit for us. And I had already gone in with a little bit of black and kind of smeared it around. I'm gonna work on that a little bit more, but I really wanna spend some time on this foliage with you guys because that's probably going to take the longest. It's one of those things that's time consuming because you wanna go in with so many different layers of color. When you're looking at those fall trees, one of the things that we love about them is the color is just so dynamic and it takes a little bit of time to capture that. So I'm gonna just start off, I wanna do this red, with some pretty deep red. And that's gonna give us a good base. And what's nice about mixing your color, your own color, is you can kind of control the gradient that you use whenever you're creating this image. So I use Q-tips. I know some people like to just go in straight with a brush. I do use a brush afterwards, but it's not completely necessary. So I just take this Q-tip And you're gonna dab in color, and it's gonna take you a while. So while we're working on this, what is everybody for Halloween? I already asked once, so you should be ready with your answer.
Well, I'm going as Jason. So I know my name's Jason, and the irony there is I'm going as Jason.
Like the scary one?
Yeah, from Friday the 13th.
Yeah. I'm going to be construction zone, in case anybody was wondering what I'm going to be. So.
What is
I have some orange stuff. Ooh, there we go. Make it a little bit of a mess, but it's fun. Yeah, no, I just have some orange netting. I'm going to wrap myself up and I'm going to be a construction zone.
Awesome.
Yeah, work with what you got, right?
Well, Steve Brown says he's going as Jason Woodard.
Oh, that's the perfect outfit. Just gotta get some. Wait, he has glasses. That's perfect.
It's been a while since I've seen Jason Woodard in person because of COVID, but does he still have braces?
I think so.
So, sounds like Steve is gonna procure some braces and maybe a Porsche.
And for people who don't work with us, Jason Woodard is another coworker, so we're not leaving you out of the loop, I promise. We're just making fun of our friends.
Anyone else dressing up as their coworkers? Alana says she's dressing up like a witch. So, very cool.
That is fun. If she needs a rock, I've got one.
Steve Brown says it's called a grill.
Oh. Who was it that sang that song that's like, let me see you grill? You know what I'm talking about?
If you guys know what Tarah's talking about, put it in the comments.
I think it was maybe Nelly.
Jess Barnum says, sounds really spooky, Steve Brown.
It is. I hope everybody's having fun dabbing. The art kind. I am gonna kind of do this pretty lightly and move on because this is probably the most time consuming piece. So I don't know, Jason, if I bring the canvas up to the camera, does it blur out? I just want people to see the texture of.
Yeah, I think if you brought it up close to the light here.
Okay. Oh no, I got red paint everywhere.
It's okay.
There we go. It's fine. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
But using a slower method really gives you a lot of texture in the tree. So a lot of people do prefer to use this texture because it is pretty leaf-like. What I like to do after I do this, sometimes I will leave sections with this texture in it just to give it a little bit more character. But I also get a little fan paintbrush here. And I always go up, but kind of blend in some of that color. It'll help give you a little bit more coverage if you're like me and you're just kind of rushing through it.
So Alanis did confirm that song is by Nelly.
I'm so smart. You guys are lucky to have me around, really. Sorry.
Steve Brown says, ooh, that's pretty.
I know I am, but what are you?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You guys, I think Jason wants me out of his house because it's really hot in here. And so I think as soon as this is over, he's going to be like, yeah, too hot for you. You should leave.
It's getting hot in here. Is that another Nelly song?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That wasn't on purpose, though. You're the one who knew that.
They're asking if you can bring it up a little closer to the camera because they can see the color better and show how you're fanning it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of however I feel like at the time, you know? Now let's do a little guy down here too. So you can see, well, hopefully you can see that the color, it's not a super great coverage, but that's gonna be okay. So we're gonna go into this red paint that we are getting everywhere, but not on the carpet. And we're just gonna add in a little bit of yellow. We're gonna start ooh, that's a little bit more than I thought. We're gonna start lightening up this into more of an orangish color. Just gonna mix this in. And you can go at whatever increment level of color that you want. So in my free time, I would probably spend quite a bit of time just very slightly deepening the color or lightening up that color to get through to a yellow. Taking another Q-tip, just getting that all, whatever. And then,
yeah, bring it.
So as you get to those lighter and lighter colors, you want to start shaping kind of where your tufts of the tree are going to be. I don't know how else to describe that. And this maybe wasn't a contrasting enough color. But when you look at a tree, like up here is going to be a lot lighter than, you know, deeper into the limb, if you will. So we're going to just start shaping out kind of the tree, I guess. So spend a little bit more time doing that and I'll bring it back up for you guys.
So this is helping add some depth and just slightly different colors.
Yeah. So you want to kind of build on it. Not only is it going to give you a little bit better coverage and give you a little bit more vibrant of an image, but it's going to kind of help shape it and make it look a little bit more tree-like. And I know it's looking pretty round right now, but we will address that in a little bit as well. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do something else really quick. I think I just got paint on my face too.
It's part of the fun, guys.
It's a really good look. I'm just gonna mix
But it's acrylic, so it's water-based and will come off fairly easily.
out of carpet too. Never mind.
Yeah, when you get a little more on there, do you want to bring that up and kind of show the detail for people watching?
For the people, of course. Paint on this.
Jess says she never paints without making a giant mess. Well,
that's why. Oh, that didn't turn out well. Anyway, we're just gonna take some of this and start blending some color. And so I hope this will help give you guys the idea of kind of what we're trying to do by creating like a more dark and then light. Just trying to shape out these limbs a little bit. And that's, again, one of the reasons why I like to go from and push that color up, because then we're still kind of keeping to what our goal is here. too crazy with the paint, which is fine. It's a lot of fun. Are we on time?
Yeah, we're doing great on time.
Okay. So basically, you want to keep going back over it, maybe giving it a few minutes to dry in between the different stages of the paint, because you really want to create that like shape again. I'm going to bring up the final, if you will, because we're going to work on it a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see a little bit better, because I spent a little bit, not much more time, but a little bit more time on this one. And so you've got the yellows and the lighter oranges up top. We're gonna go in and shape this just a little bit more. We're gonna take in some white. We're gonna create a little bit more of the limbs that are showing through here. And we might add a couple little other fun things, so. I am gonna use a little bit more yellow. We'll go in, lighten it up just a tad. And I'm gonna be a little bit more selective with where the paint is actually going, because I've already got some shapes built into this. So
you're just using the Q-tip on adding this yellow in there right now.
Yep.
So Tarah, how long have you been painting?
Successfully? I guess none of it's successful. I don't know.
Again,
it's all very successul.
There's no DIY police, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you feel your talent level is.
So I started trying to paint probably a couple of years ago. I went to some of those wine and paints when they were really popular, and had a really good time. And I liked it, and I learned quite a bit from going to those, and just because there's a lot of other artists that go to those, and they kind of do whatever they want. They don't necessarily follow what the instructor is teaching that night, and they'll come up with some crazy stuff, and they're really there to use the material and not have a cleanup, basically. And that's a lot of fun. And so I did a couple of those, and my paintings were okay. And then at one point I got a paint by number, and that's when I learned the value of having the shapes drawn out or having an image sketched out first, because then your brain naturally will help you with the brush strokes, because you're going to want to like go with your grooves or your lines that you've already drawn. And one thing that I started doing is, because I like to I spend probably anywhere from 20 to 40 hours on a painting. And so I use the paint by numbers little things. I'll mix up the colors, but I don't want to lose them. So I wash them and repurpose them to continue using those little cups, so I can always come back and work with those same colors without having to try and recreate them. But I just kind of wanted you guys to see how I'm a little bit more selective with where the color is going. It's a little bit messy, because that's just the mood I'm in, I guess. But I'm really more selective. I'm hitting some high points. Kind of think it as like the cheekbones of the tree. And so we're just kind of lightening that up, and we're gonna shape out this a little bit more. And you can tell the color is really, I'll put this down, pretty dramatic in comparison to what I already had on here. And that's because I wasn't mixing based off of previous uses. So I do recommend, if you're going to work on the foliage of the tree, to kind of do it in one sitting where you have the time to dedicate to doing this piece. So it'll help it kind of look a little bit more cohesive.
Alanis, I would love for you to teach a DIY with InRoads class. So after this segment, I'll reach out to you via Facebook, and we can have that conversation. We are possibly looking at doing some in the spring. So I'll be in contact. Thank you.
This is why we put paper down also, is we just use whatever resources we have. And I'm gonna blend this in a little bit more because it is so contrasting to the colors that were already there. I might actually go in with a little bit of this too.
Hannah says, happy little trees.
Happy tree. One.
Just one tree.
Just one.
There might be some trees next to it that are out of frame, but.
Hannah might need to go back to school with her kids.
Whoa.
I know she likes her office though. So, anyway, that's gonna kind of give you an idea. I'm blending in a little bit more of that like reddish orange just to make it look a little bit more like I did all of this on purpose. But I would even probably go back in and do some white as well, here and there. Maybe if you're just trying to highlight some stuff. So, there we go. So there's the tree piece. And we're gonna go back in with our little bit smaller paintbrush because we want to draw in some limbs because trees have arms. So we have our black paint out here. We're just gonna get a little bit. Don't be like me.
And it says they're feisty tonight.
Which ones? Me? Oh, yes. So you can see in here I have that. So we're gonna kind of paint in the branch there. And we're kind of gonna just do that wherever we feel like, honestly. It's how we live our lives, right? Just whatever we feel like. I'm interested if Cody is on here because he promised me he'd watch. Can you tell?
Cody, I don't see Cody, but Cody, if you're watching,
We know.
please comment below.
And you're just gonna kind of make whatever little limbs that you want to have showing through your tree.
Do you want to bring that closer so, when you get to a spot you can show
I mean,
viewers?
It's gonna look a little interesting because some of the paint is wet and some of it isn't. But you're also gonna want to kind of try and follow some of the shaping that you did, because since this is like right here is the top, I would probably put a limb if I were going to put one here, which now there is one there, and maybe here. So you're just gonna have a little bit of fun with it.
I think it's safe to say no two trees are exactly the same.
Ever. There we go. So you'll just draw on whatever you want. And then I also want to add in maybe some of this color down here. Some of this red orange. So I'm gonna go in kind of with like a mixture. I've got a mess going on, so it doesn't really matter too much. I'm gonna do a little bit. And then let's take this big brush. That's not really good. Take a drink of your beverage, but not of your brush water. I've made that mistake. It's alarming. Okay. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back in with some of the blue that we made earlier because I want to work on the water a little bit. I've got some of this orange down in here, and this is gonna be a little bit lighter than this original watercolor that I chose, but I just want to blend in some more blue here. I want to make it look a little bit more organic than it was looking. you're having a hard time with your color getting all the way across the canvas, if you get your brush a little bit wet, that'll really help you pull that color. And then I'm gonna come in with a little bit more of this orange color. Orange, yellow, whatever. Just to show that reflecting in the water, because we do have the tree reflecting a little bit. So we just want to keep it kind of cohesive and consistent in that aspect. So I'm going to take this black, kind of bring it down a little bit more. I'm going to get the paint mostly off of this brush and kind of pull that out. There we go. And that's kind of what it's going to look like. If you really want to continue, how are we on time?
Okay.
We're good? Okay. Let's see if I can do it. I messed this up last time I tried it. But I saw a really cute thing, and they just made a little baby tree swing. And I don't know, you guys want to hear more about me? I can tell you something weird. That's all weird. When I was growing up, I've always had a lot of energy, and I used to be obsessed with swinging. I broke multiple swings from swinging so hard. My dad had to build them. He finally bolted one up in a tree and like crisscrossed the chains, so when it broke I wouldn't go flying. But I like swings, they're cool. All right, well, now we have that. We can do a little pumpkin, that'd be fun, right? I've got some little detail brushes, kind of stick with the theme. Use some of this orangey color. Let's do a little baby pumpkin here. It's going to take a little bit of layering because it is a pretty dark canvas. You could go in with some white first if you were really wanting to, but this is for fun. That's a really perfect pumpkin. I'm good at this.
And again, I don't think there's two pumpkins that are exactly the same. So whatever your pumpkin looks like, it is perfect.
Perfect pumpkin. I'm gonna use black for the, that didn't work out well. I'm gonna go back in a little bit of orange. But black for the stem, just because we're sticking with that very contrasting dark colors and then those bright fall colors. And I have just a little detail brush that I'm not very good with, so this is why I like drawing out my paintings first. Yeah, this isn't gonna work out too well for me. I should have practiced this.
That's okay.
But there's my beautiful pumpkin. It looks great. And that's pretty much our painting. So,
But that's the beauty of this. You added a swing and a pumpkin. You can, if you don't want a swing or a pumpkin on your tree,
yeah,
you
we
don't
might need to get rid of this pumpkin.
you don't have to. And just like that, the pumpkin is gone.
No pumpkin. Hard to do that with black, but
It's true.
yeah.
Well, do you want to bring it up a little bit closer?
Sure. Is that good?
Yeah. And there you have it, folks. Pretty awesome painting in a fairly short amount of time. a little bit of battle damage. But if you guys have any painting tips or comments or questions, not tips for Tarah, but maybe something.
And if you didn't tell me what you're going to be for Halloween, I still want to know.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on here that haven't commented about what their Halloween costume is.
Yeah. Now it's just us, so this is fun. I'm unsupervised. What else do you guys want to paint? Nothing inappropriate. Okay, never mind. We're no longer unsupervised. Do we have any questions or comments? Anybody to say that I'm just like super pretty? No.
Yeah, we have new people that are jumping on, so
Still?
yeah. We have a few minutes left. We can talk about painting, we can talk about Halloween.
We can talk about.
We can talk about anything.
We can talk about anything.
So, but do you want to show the painting one more time for the people that are
The people
just
in the back.
just joining us? So, Tarah took us through step by step on how to do this painting. All of the supplies needed, which really aren't very many, are loaded up on a PDF on our landing page, which is inroadscu.org/DIY. So tomorrow, this video, if you joined us late, will be loaded up on that page so you can see it from start to finish and watch it at your leisure and get those supplies so you can make your own festive fall nightscape tree.
Or whatever color you want.
Or whatever color you want.
Could have been a purple tree. That would have been a lot of fun. We could make a Christmas tree. We could do like a green tree and put little lights in it. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. It's a great thing about painting.
Well, if we don't have any questions, here we go. We almost made it the full night.
Hey, it didn't get on your carpet. It landed perfectly up. Ta-da!
It looks great, Tarah. Well, if we don't have any questions, I just want to say thank you, Tarah, for tonight. It was amazing. Make sure that you watch the other DIY with InRoads in the series. Again, all of them are loaded up on our landing page at inroadscu.org/DIY. And that's all for tonight, folks. So be sure to check that landing page for today's DIY instructions, as well as the supply lists. And then, like I said, that video will be loaded up tomorrow for you guys to watch from start to finish. And from all of us at InRoads, I just want to say, please stay safe and healthy.